I was an HR specialist. And all the time in HR, they say, focus on your strengths, focus on your strengths. And then I was with Mentally Fit and they said, it's bullshit.
You're only as strong as your weakest battery. I'm always looking for unnecessary, stupid energy leaks because they cost you energy day in, day out.
It made a click in my mind. This framework is so true.
Welcome to Out of Our Comfort Zone. Hosted by a high-performance athlete and Guinness World Record holder, this is a podcast where we share actionable strategies, inspiring stories, and expert insights to turn adversity into high potential for ambitious leaders, CEOs, HROs, and athletes seeking to excel in high-pressure environments. Here's your host, Deniz Kayadelen.
Hello, welcome to the Out of Comfort Zone podcast. Today I have Koen Gonnissen, and he is a leadership coach, a sports coach. He was a high-class athlete. He coached world-class athletes, pioneers, athletes like Olympian gold medalists, and he is an entrepreneur. More than 30 years of mentally fit coaching of global clients. And what brings us together is, of course, the connection between sports, between business, and human mindset. So I'm so glad to have you today here in Switzerland. It's amazing that we are now finally see each other also face to face.
Yeah, but you're paying me way too much honor. I'm just a normal guy. I've been extremely lucky that I had the privilege to work with some of these young kids who became world champion. And in all honesty, you learn just as much or even more from them than they learn from you. Because living day in, day out with top performers, it offers you a mirror to think, oh wow, how am I doing this as a coach? What could I improve? So I've been extremely happy and lucky. And then combining it with the business world, the same thing happened. You learn from top managers. Of course, you help them. You improve some habits, some routines, but it's a two-way learning process.
Yeah, and I think Koen is a little bit humble, right? So he's coaching world leaders, CEOs. I cannot tell the names now, of course, from the companies and the CEOs. It's all confidential. So you cannot see Koen a lot of in LinkedIn posting here and there, because all what he's do, most of the projects are confidential. Yeah, because it's a high level leadership coaching. And I'm really curious to hear more about that. Of course, in a confidential way, what are the key challenges of leaders and was the key challenges of athletes? I think there are real parallelities. That's why we also combine business and sports together, because no matter which sport, no matter which company, no matter which country, industry, I think the challenges are similar and the solution is also similar. And I would like to hear from you a little bit more about this. What are the main out of comfort zone topics in this today's AI world? And from your perspective, what are the solutions? And I would like to add Koen and, of course, the Mentally Fit Global Coaching Cabinet. They have many, many different models. And one model which inspired me a lot is the 4 pillars, which I also included now in my book, From Peer to Peak Flow. Is you can also explain then in a bit, but the mental clarity, the emotional intelligence, the physical endurance, and the spiritual endurance. So the 4 pillars. But what was new for me and eye-opening, tell you the truth, I'm more than 15 years in consulting. I was an HR specialist. And all the time in HR, they say, focus on your strengths, focus on your strengths. And then I was with Mentally Fit in this training, and they said, it's bullshit. You are as strong as your weakest pillar. And that was so mind-blowing. It inspired me. It made a click in my mind. And it inspired me so much that it is a big bunch also of my book, where I said, okay, this framework, I need to use it because it is so true. So
You're firing many questions in just 2 minutes time. Let's start, where it all started for me. is like coaching athletes.
Mm.
After my master, I returned to the game, which was my game, tennis. Unfortunately, at 17, I got injured. I had to stop my career way too early.
Way too early.
So after university, I went back to it, coaching. Belgium had many, many talents, as people may remember. And that's where I developed the basic coaching skills, not knowing that one day, nowadays, that I would do this coaching job. So when you work with athletes, what do you do? And it's a question I've been asked so many times. What's the difference between coaching an athlete or somebody in the business world? And yeah, the answer may surprise you, but I'm always looking. These are my four magic words. I'm always looking for unnecessary, stupid energy leaks. Unnecessary because they cost you energy day in, day out. Stupid because you know it, but you don't do anything. You don't, they're you're blocked somewhere, you have fear somewhere, like you describe in your book. So many things that prevent you from changing habits. Energy losses is crucial because you're losing energy, and it may be crystal clear you cannot win a golden medal if you're losing too much energy, whether it is emotionally, whether it is mentally, whether it is physically, or whether it is on your why. Why am I doing this? If you're losing energy somewhere, that makes you very vulnerable, and that brought us to writing "You're only as strong as your weakest battery." So, if I resume, when you work with athletes, you have two options: you work with individuals or you work with teams. But it's kind of the same work. You're looking for where is the athlete, where is the team losing stupid, unnecessary energy.
Yeah.
And then comes the definition of a good coach. A good coach is not there to please the athletes. A good coach is not there to please the team.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, many coaches want to be the best friends. They go too close, they go into sympathy with the team. No, that's not what you get hired for. You are there to challenge them, to give, strong, candid feedback, stretching feedback. Roger Federer once described it like, I need to hear criticism from time to time. It's the only way I can get better. And it means that the person who's criticizing me cares about me.
Of course, you learn the biggest from your failures, not always from your wins.
But it's unbelievable that the best one of, together with Djoko and Nadal, the best tennis players of all time. I'm not going to go into that discussion. Some people like Djoko, some people like Roger Federer, but that's such a gentleman says, all my career, even when I was number one, months in a row, I needed to hear criticism.
Yeah.
He doesn't use this fancy language of the business world, feedback.
Yeah.
So he says criticism. What does this mean? In the business world, we are so nice to one another. Many teams are way too nice.
Yeah.
Because we learn in courses about feedback, and feedback needs to be positive. I agree. Sometimes it needs to be positive. Everybody needs to be valued, to feel valued. Well done. Well done, Dennis. Well done, Koen. But there should also be it's equally important, stretching feedback, which can make you cry. You go home hopefully grumpy. If you have a partner in life, say, I got this feedback today. Because it means they touched you.
Something shifting, you are getting triggered.
You get triggered, and it brings you closer to make a shift, a mind shift.
Exactly.
So back to the starting point of this discussion. When you work with an individual or a team, whether it is in sports or in the business world, you look for stupid, unnecessary energy losses. Now, what could they be? For an athlete, sometimes they're mental. What is mental? Mental means, on training, everything goes blindfolded, and then not in the easy games, but the tough games with a lot of crowds or hostile crowds, I always lose my focus. It's about focus under pressure. Or fear for losing, fear to disappoint the sponsors, fear to lose. You know who are the biggest, for tennis players, for example, your biggest supporters? Make a guess. your grandfather and grandmother, if they're still alive.
Mm.
Because the tennis player travels from South America to Australia. It's very expensive, the traveling. There's a lot of pressure because every week is super expensive.
Mm.
So whenever you play on Monday or Tuesday, the first ones to call you are your grandfather, grandmother. And the only thing they ask is, and, cool? Meaning, did you win or lose? Unconsciously, they put a lot of pressure on you.
Mm.
So if that creates, you don't need a lot there to get fear of losing. So how to counter that? How to, put that aside? You're not playing for your grandmother. You're not playing for your grandmother.
Mm.
Okay, if you win, they will be happy. But if you did your best and you made progress in the game, they should be equally happy.
Yeah.
So it's dealing with fear. It's dealing with focus. That's the mental part.
Mm.
Emotionally, let's go to cyclism. I had the honor to coach Philippe Gilbert, world champion, I believe, 2012. And in that period, also Andre Greipel, for people who like cyclism. The Gorilla was his name, legs like that. His big competitor was Cavendish, world famous Cavendish.
Mm-hmm.
So at a certain moment, there is a terrible accident. A Belgian guy dies, in a cycling contest, falling badly.
Mm.
Now, Andre had two or three little girls. So one of the girls just asked him, "Hey, Daddy, when you go at 70 kilometers an hour in the sprint to the finish line, and on the side they put this metal, radar, whatever protection,
Mm.
Daddy, you're not gonna fall. Promise me." It was enough to shift something in his mind. You lose the fearless mindset or whatever,
Mm.
and suddenly your legs, even for a strong guy like that, are blocked. What do you do about it?
Yeah, even a manifestation when you have a negative thought, negative visualization, you attract it maybe unconsciously.
Subconsciously.
Yes.
His daughter, her hearing about the
Yeah.
accident and just asking Daddy.
Yeah.
So this is typically an example of mental, also emotional.
Mm.
I'm not calling it a leak, but indirectly it becomes a leak.
Of course.
As an athlete, you start thinking differently. You lose your focus because you need to be fearless
Yes.
on the moment that if you get into the sprint, because you need to win the money for the team members. Cyclist teams, they don't make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Only the big shots, the superstars, but all the other guys, the workers, like we call them, they're just hoping that the sprinter will win the sprint because then he brings another 100,000 to the team, which will be split equally between the team members. So the entire 300 kilometers, they're pushing you over the mountains, helping you because a sprinter with legs like that is not made to go over mountains. So finally you get there. Don't disappoint them. Now, if you think too much of all these team members that did all these efforts, you will be slow.
Of course, all these emotions, all these fears, all these also limiting beliefs and defocus can cost your life, can cost your gold medals and your whole energy. So it's energy leaking. And also we talking about the third and fourth pillar, right?
Yeah, but let's go slowly. This is mental.
Yeah.
Emotional is, for example, cyclists, tennis players,
Mm.
they travel, 250 tennis players, 300 days a year, 320 days. So the biggest thing, they're young athletes. Some of them are quite a new relationship. The biggest thing emotionally is you're missing your partner.
Yeah.
Homesickness.
Mm.
It's underestimated. You will never read this in the newspaper, but it's a big mental leak.
Yeah.
Sometimes these young athletes feel emotionally disbalanced, and that's influencing, the legs, everything, the final performance. So how to solve that? As a mental coach, you're not magic, but the fact that you listen to them, the fact that you care about it, the fact that you speak with the director of the team and say, allow this guy to fly 3 days, 4 days home I promise you afterwards he will fly again or she will fly again. It's about showing you care,
Yeah.
and it's about listening. Physically, thousands of examples. It's the symptoms of stress. To some people, to give a business example, when I check it with audiences, big audiences, the number of people who have these headaches, tension headaches, coming from the shoulders
Yeah.
and going to the head,
Mm.
60, 70%. Back problems. The number two reason why people stay home. The number
Yeah.
one reason is the flu, respiratory diseases. The number two why people stay home is back problems.
Yeah.
Where do these back problems come from? First of all, we sit too much. And secondly, back problems because of stress, tension. So, who sleeps well? Of all the people listening one day to our conversation,
Mm.
do you sleep well?
So many people have sleep problems, anxieties in the night, huh? So many.
I'm checking this, Dennis, for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
100,000 of people I had in my audiences. And 80%, 80% of people suffer from, or they can't fall asleep, or they wake up too early in the morning, meaning at the end of the night you have more dreaming moments, mental emotional recovery. So they lack that mental emotional recovery, or not getting to 6 hours, which absolute minimum, or what is the fourth one? I forgot it, but it doesn't matter. But anyhow, these three sleeping problems come back worldwide amongst 80% of employees.
To the serious.
It's
no regeneration.
It's the number one, I would call it, mostly physical leak. So many business people from is that the ambition of having a job, that the stress from the job. Oh, I'm not going to get my objectives. Oh, in my team they talk behind the back. Is that the ambition, that it gets into your sleep and it jeopardizes the quality of your physical recovery? I don't think so. So, the business world can learn so much from very, very simple rules of mother nature.
Yeah.
Reconnecting to how to recover fundamentally.
Exactly.
And there I believe athletes, we can learn a lot from the world of athletes.
Yeah, it's not a luxury to sleep. It's not a luxury to regenerate. It's as important as training, as important as having nutrition, having a proper feeding during or before the races, right?
If you ask me, the two magic rules in sports are: one, you cannot win every game, but you can learn every game. And the number two rule is recovery is just as important as performance.
Yes.
If that you ask any athletes, any game in the world, and they will absolutely agree with these two rules. There are more rules for top performance world champions, but these are number one and number two. You cannot win every game. If you think you can win every game, you develop fear for losing.
Yeah.
But you every game you want to see that you improved something, technically, tactically, mentally, emotionally, physically. So we measure progress. We don't focus on winning. You measure progress. That's number one rule. And number two, recovery is just as important as performance. That counts for any game.
Yeah. And you are basically your own competition, right? So are you a better version of yourself from yesterday?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
How can you become every day better? Focus on progress, not on winning.
Yeah. And that was my failure, tell you the truth. I'm just coming freshly from the European Championship. I won 2 gold medals the first 2 days. Yeah. And then the third day, 1 silver. And I said, okay, the last race, I want to win again. And the same competition, the same girl was next to me swimming. I won the gold, she won the silver, and I wanted to win again. And I did a big mistake, mental mistake. I focused myself emotionally, mentally, more to her than to myself. So that was my energy leak. I focused so much on her during the swim as well and checked where is she, what she's doing. Is she faster than me? Is she slower than me? Did she also turn like me? I was so focusing on her during the race. And at the end, when you watch this race, I was always like in front of her. And the last 5 meters, I said, okay, I'm in front of her. It's enough. I will win anyway. And what happened? That 15 milliseconds, she won. 15 milliseconds. So it cost me my gold because I was distracted with my mind. I wasn't in my own energy zone. I was too focused on the competition, on the comparison.
It's a classic, huh? And that for a very experienced athlete, which you are,
Yeah.
it's a classic mistake because one of the things, and it's the same in the business world, you should focus on is a narrow focus only on yourself, on your own rhythm, your own breathing, your own techniques, the automatic, but you never look around. Focus is not to the future, not to the past, it's in the present.
In the present moment to yourself, to do the best what you can do without comparison, without, oh, what others thinking about me, what others doing, because these are the energy leaks. Also, when you go to a pitch, also in the consulting life, how often so many consultants get distressed, oh, what the partner will think about me, what the client will think about me.
Yeah.
And we are so nervous about what other can think about us that our energy is not in our content anymore. Our energy is investing of dealing with our fears, with our limiting beliefs, with our insecurities, imposter syndrome, you name it, right?
Absolutely. There's some very simple rules. Um, you know, anyone, business people, but anyone in the world should reconnect to. That's why you read your books. That's why we keep coaching in the business world, because we can learn, or we should all refresh the rules of Mother Nature. The rules of performance are universal. What works in sports will equally work in the business world.
What are the main 5 rules of
Well,
performance?
that's impossible to answer. The question is way too big.
Yeah.
But I've been answering partly what is important for individuals, individual athletes, or individual corporate athletes. The book I wrote with Alain Goudsmit in 2005, also quite a bestseller worldwide. The corporate athletes, it's like, where are you losing energy, and what can you yourself do about it? Eventually, with the help, a little push of a coach. That's the reason of existence for the coach, is not giving the solution, but helping people to become, to use your words, the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
So a coach is never giving the fish, teaching you how you can catch the fish yourself. But to answer your question, what are the major rules of performance? It's so complex because you have individual performance and then you have team performance. And in team performance, the leaks are completely different. In team performance is like, okay, what is the number one in teams sometimes lack is, what is our common goal? A common goal for a team.
Goal, and then collaboration, communication, what we see also in companies, right? It's lacking having silos, having individual goals, competing with the global goals.
So there is a big need for an alignment on a common goal. What's in for me? Nowadays we have a lot of mergers, company merging together. It means, oh, it was so much better before they bought us or before we bought them. People live in the past. I always say stop radio nostalgia, because it's not going to come back. So the first thing is realigning to the new name, the new company, the new culture, the new values. The second thing is, once you are aligned, is okay, which rules do we need on board? Rules in companies, they tend to name it values. I don't like the word values. Values is passive, is old-fashioned. We used to have values on the website and nobody was living them. I like to translate values into behaviors. So which behaviors do we need to win in 26, where AI is coming in? People are afraid of losing the job and everything. What is the code of conduct, ethical, the ethics? So one, again, where are we going to? What's in for me? Two, which ethics do we all commit to? And if you combine this with trust, trust is a big word. Trust, do I trust you as a person? If I don't trust you as a person, it will never work.
Yeah.
The second thing is, do I trust you? If I trust you as a person, do I trust you as an expert? Do I think you're good enough so I can pass you the ball?
Yeah, the credibility.
That's another reason why things go wrong in sports and in the business world.
And the psychological safety, right? If you don't feel psychological safe,
absolutely,
then you cannot perform at your best, because you have again the energy leaks of mistrust, emotional energy leaks.
Yep.
mental distraction or what they think about me, what they will do, where I should protect myself.
I love what you say. Psychological safety is a big thing.
Yeah.
Also because so many meetings nowadays are virtual. Teams, Zoom. You know, your language, your body language, the camera zooms in and out on you, your face, if you look like angry or whatever, and the language is a little bit hostile, you know, your partner, your colleague in China and in Vietnam, wherever the colleague is, feels threatened. So psychological safety is a big thing the last years. Let's go back to your question. What do we need on team level? It is alignment on a common goal and what's in for me. What are the rules on board? Don't call it values, call it behavior. It's more active than values. And 3, the trust. If you have that, if you're aligned on those 3 things, you go in the direction of what in sport we call a team.
Yeah, a team performance, high performance.
Before you're just a group of individuals.
And there are also different high performing teams, right? Like having a winning mindset or participation mindset, what you call. So
yeah, but that's the umbrella above it. And everybody wants a winning culture.
Yeah.
But if you want to build a winning culture, you need to look at this team. Is the glue there? The glue is common objective. It's trust. It is the ethical code. That's the glue. We always say at Mental Fit, glue before stretch.
Yeah.
You first glue the team that's working on these 3 topics, and then you can start stretch the team.
Yeah.
That's the second phase.
It's a prerequisite. And when you say behaviors, that's so important because so many companies, I've managed so many change management projects as well. They define great change management, purpose slides, values, competencies, everything is great. They even define the behaviors. But then what's happening? Focus on business goals, focus on profit. They have key performance indicators, KPIs, but they don't have KBIs, which you say behaviors. So key behavioral indicators. And no one cares about behavioral indicators. Everyone cares about the KPIs, the hardcore numbers. And then what's happened? Everyone is again in this emergency mode, survival mode, and just want to get this KPIs done, the results. But the KBIs, the behavioral anchors, are not lived. It's then a nice website picture or a PowerPoint picture with all the beautiful values. So that's why I love what you say. It's the glue. So you need to really live it with the behavior.
Absolutely. And after the glue, you can stretch, meaning you look at, inter-individual differences. I have 3 sisters. We are coming from the same parents, completely different. It's other. We come from other planets. Tools like Myers-Briggs, Insights, DISC, and all this corporate tools. We started using them in the sports world because we didn't have them in the sports world, but they help you. They're just tools. They're not the objective on themselves, but they're tools to help you understand that being different is okay. We communicate different, we organize different, our energy is different, extrovert, introvert, and so on, so on. So that is the first point. After you have the glue, the direction, the trust, and the ethical code, you start looking at, okay, how different are we? Why do you speak another language? Why do I align easy with you and I fight with others in the team? Is understanding that difference in a team are okay. After you do that, you should also look at the drivers. The drivers is what drives you. Motivation, you can say. When you're 30, what is a typical driver when you are 30? You want to build your career, you want to learn a lot, but also you're hoping to buy your first little house, little apartment. So finances are a big driver for most people. When you're 40, they might change. When you're 50, turn 50, they also change. It's maybe when you get older, it's more intellectual curiosity. I don't want to do systematically the same job. I want to be stimulated. So, looking at differences between people is one thing. Looking at what drives people is a second thing. But you need to know both.
Yeah.
What are your unique talents? What is driving you? And if you combine them, then you can define clear roles. Clear roles meaning in which role would you thrive? In which role could you use your unique talents, your personality traits? And here the companies go completely blind.
Yeah. And especially now in the world of AI, the typical uncertainty. Most of the people are afraid of losing their jobs. Even companies cannot tell, okay, they will stay, they will not stay. Even companies has fears about replaced by AI with their operating model, strategy, and whatever. In this kind of world, out of comfort zone, what do you think is the best way to deal with this?
It's probably one of the questions for the moment.
Yeah.
I've never seen over the last. I'm coaching in the business world for almost 30 years now. I'm getting old, huh? 30 years, a lot of experience. Now, I've never seen that amount of fear.
Yeah.
We had many crises. Come on, we had the oil crisis, 70s, 80s. We had everything.
Now I
But
think we are like in a pandemic crisis. It's an invisible crisis. People have anxieties they have anxieties, sleepless nights. They are afraid of losing their job, losing their identity. They are in a survival mode, in a risk zone, but also they don't want to tell it, right? Everyone has a similar situation, but no one shows also this vulnerability and says, hey, I'm afraid of losing my job. Everyone still wants to look confident, wants to look strong. And in the world of especially social media, LinkedIn, everyone posts the best side of themselves, and then they get more anxiety because they compare themselves with others.
yeah,
So we are, I think, in a different kind of crisis, an invisible crisis now.
I don't like the word crisis, to be honest. It's I call it a super acceleration. Some people call it the never normal. You know, we had very stable decades where you could easily do your job, normal being pushed by your managers. But nowadays, the acceleration is so fierce that, first of all, the job stress is increasing, being pushed to deliver with less headcount, less people, and as efficient as possible. And the second thing which adds to this increased push is, will I be replaced by the
AI.
AI agents?
Yeah.
And the only answer is more than ever, whether you're 60, even 62, or you're 50, 52, is invest
Mm.
your weekends, invest in the evening in getting used to the simplest AI tools.
Yeah.
If your company, and they all do, offers some trainings on AI, make sure that you show, and here it is, the number one word of the last 10 years, make sure you show the agility, the
Yeah.
capacity
Mm.
to say, okay, my old way of working, which I used for 30 years, it will not work anymore. I need to accept the aid of AI, whatever tools they suggest. So it's just opening up as quickly as possible, learning to use it. The original ambition of AI, we all know, is to help you to gain efficiency.
Yeah.
Will it not go that far at a certain moment for very repetitive jobs to replace it? Yes, probably it is.
Yeah. Even lawyers and so on. So high qualified
Audit
jobs.
and everything.
Audit
But does that
lawyers.
mean that you will lose the job? No. If you reconverse yourself into, I can use this, I could shift to another job, you probably find a kind of similar job, but at a different level.
I think it's a reinvention still, right?
Yeah, it's good. I like
We
it.
need to reinvent ourselves.
Reinventing yourself.
Yeah.
We all, as coaches, we always use this unlearn stuff to relearn.
Yeah.
But how difficult is it when you did 30 years your job in
Yeah.
a certain way, and then you need to unlearn how you did it successfully for 30 years?
What brought you
Then,
here will not get you there.
yeah, for the last 10, 15 years, to learn new techniques to hopefully keep the job and even thriving, and, driving you into a new job. It's not given to everybody. Some people are, apologies to say, so rigid, holding on to the past. Again, stop radio nostalgia. The past will not come back. So adapt, or maybe disappear. It's very hard what I'm saying, but it's including myself. How much of our job, Dennis, could be replaced by a machine? Repetitive webinars, I don't have the answer.
There are
Well,
webinars, even there are virtual podcasts, there are virtual psychologists. So many people started to explain their problems to ChatGPT. They're speaking with ChatGPT.
at this moment, it is still making a lot of mistakes.
Yes,
It was in
but it will be
Belgium,
more
yeah,
perfect.
2 days ago in Belgium that um, ChatGPT doctor fails a lot because we don't ask deep enough questions. If you
Yeah.
would challenge it and deeper, you probably get to
Mm.
a better truth, but it makes crucial mistakes. So don't trust it.
Yeah.
But probably it will increase the knowledge, become better one day. But in all honesty, even me and I suppose you too, I question, okay, how will my job as a coach
Will change. Yeah.
evolve?
Yeah.
Evolve. And at my age, what do I need to do to
To stay relevant.
to stay relevant
Yeah.
and to show the necessary energy and agility to keep adapting?
Yeah.
You have no choice nowadays.
So
Again, the basic thing I'm saying, it's not a crisis. I
Mm.
don't like the word, in serious apologies for that.
Mm.
It is the fastest acceleration ever of the business world,
yeah.
um, which requires the humans working in that business world to adapt, I would say, 10 times faster
Faster than before.
than 10, 20 years ago.
And why I call it crisis, because it leads to individual crisis. Like, who am I? What I can do if I get replaced? Or when I lose this job, who am I? What I should do? Where I can upskill, reskill myself? Am I still worthy enough? So all these
Absolutely.
questions, because I coach also so many leaders, they are on the top, they are afraid of losing their jobs, and they are so stuck of this image, of this status. And some leaders, they learned to let go and say, oh, I'm a partner or I'm a leader, but I will do my own stuff. I will go to the university. I will do a PhD, whatever. But it's somehow like identity crisis. Who am I? What is my goal in life? Is money important? Is stability important? Or self fulfillment important? What is really important and what I can do? If money is important, stability is important, then you feel like in a victim mode, because you feel like, oh shit, what is happening when I'm losing this job? What will happen if I don't get another job? What I will do then? And this leads to a personal crisis. Let's say for me, maybe it's too brutal to say, this dealing with uncertainty.
Yeah.
But what is
You,
the
you're
solution for that?
No, the solution. If I had the solution, I would be a guru. It's no one has the key of motivation. That is something very important to know. Not one coach in the world has the key of motivation
Because it's individual as well.
because it's individual.
Yeah.
So the key of motivation, every individual on this planet has somehow the key of their own motivation in the hand. But what you were just describing is the model you like so much is positioning yourself, I would say, on, if you can call it, 4 axes. The first one is always question yourself on the knowledge axis. Where am I standing? Where should I increase my knowledge to keep being added value for my employer in my job?
Yeah.
Is it still possible? Because some are incredible experts.
Yeah.
How can I increase expertise? That's the first positioning.
And you don't need to compete with AI, you need to collaborate with AI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The second axis is about energy. Because, like you describe it, many people get exhausted.
Yeah.
It can be, again, like we said before, could be mentally exhausted, could be emotionally exhausted, the fears.
Yeah.
It could be physically exhausted because you don't sleep anymore, you develop stomach pains, headaches. That is, keep yourself. My message here is keep recharging yourself, keep the balance between mental, emotional, and physical energy.
Yeah.
The third axis where you can position yourself is, how am I in my relation to others, relational skills. For years, I had easy life. I could duck and dive in the corner of the room, and they allowed me to do my job. But nowadays, you're out. You need to go out of the comfort zone. Am I really Are my listening skills good? Am I good in speaking to people, public speaking? Am I inspiring enough these new younger generations? Uh, I could inspire the baby boomers because they just wanted this is direction. Yes, boss, control evaluation. But the new generations, they want to be inspired. So this is everything what has to do with relational skills. Again, where do you position yourself? It's a kind of spider web.
Yeah.
So where do I position myself? Knowledge wise, energy wise, relationally wise. It's a spider web. That means honest feedback to yourself.
Yeah.
In the business world, they use many times 360 feedback from your team, from peers, from top down. If people are honest with you, they are. I call it. You have the right to get honest feedback. Sometimes it will hurt. You will cry, but if you use 360s, it helps you to see, is my own positioning of the three axes correct, or do I have blind spots? But then, exactly like you described it, you have the fourth axis. We call it the backbone. The backbone. And this is the SQ. This is the sense quotient. This is why am I doing this job? Yeah. Why have I been giving 20 years of my life for this company? Now they merge with another company. It looks I'm just a number.
Yeah.
People feel a lot like just a number that can be replaced. So the why becomes more and more important. And guys, not only for the younger generations. The last baby boomers are disappearing. The 60, around 60 years young, I would call them, still having to work 5-6 years.
Yeah.
But they have the same questions as the younger generations. Why have I been giving 40 years of my life for this kind of company who is treating me now like a number? So Simon Sinek launched this why, what, how. He became world famous with it. But the guy was right. The why, always start with your why. So even if you're strong positioning on knowledge, strong positioning energy-wise, relation-wise, even if you have great positioning there, you could still doubt your why. Why should I continue to work for this company?
And this is the most dangerous part, right? So when I'm coaching some leaders, they are so successful, they earn a lot of money. And when I asking why you earn a lot of money, why you are every day waking up and sprinting, and they say, yeah, I learned it from my family. I needed to buy a house. I need to marry, but I don't know why, what I should do with all the money at the end. And this is dangerous because then you can lose directly your motivation, your track. You can question yourself. But if your why is really strong, then even if it's hard, even if it's rainy, even if it's snowy, you just continue because you know your why. You can motivate yourself intrinsically all the time.
I sometimes say people in pharmacy have quite an easy life. It's maybe strange what I'm saying, but you know the slogan of most pharmaceutical companies is like we are saving every day, every minute we're saving lives. It's super inspiring. It's sexy, you know. And then I think, okay, what could the banker say? I treat your money wisely. I increase. You know, it's somehow you get my point, no?
Yeah.
Some jobs have intrinsically a super inspiring. You save lives. Gosh, I'm a little part of it.
Yeah.
It's like everybody knows the Kennedy example in Cape Canaveral, asking a cleaner, "What are you doing?" And the guy saying, "I'm helping the rocket to go to the moon." Brilliance. You know, even if for a job like cleaning, the guy found his why, gave value to himself. And yes, when you know your why and you're telling yourself, I'm helping this rocket to go to the moon, that's the exercise a lot of people, like you said, never did.
Yeah.
This brings the worst burnouts. This brings the imposter syndrome, which you describe in your new book. I think is one of the big symptoms of this decade, the last 2 decades. Is so many people got to a top level, but they never asked themselves this: why am I doing all of this? Just running their ass off and always close to a burnout. and being afraid that somebody discovers that they're not as good as their level,
Yeah.
to be discovered the incompetence, which is it's fake self-confidence, but probably linked to what is the real why am I doing what I'm doing.
It's the authenticity, right? The less you feel authentic, the more you feel this imposter syndrome, because the more you feel you have a mask on. And if you lose the mask, you will be not accepted. You are not successful anymore in the system, in this hamster wheel.
And then they become very vulnerable
Exactly.
at that moment. That is one of the reasons of existence coaches have, because at certain moment, it's the same for psychologists, at a certain moment people need a mirror.
Yeah.
It's not about 20, 30 sessions, sometimes 2, 3, 4 hours with a good coach somewhere in the world. The coach is going to mirror you, is going to challenge you, is going to help you to position you on each of these axes, going to give some advice, help you to catch the fish yourself.
Yeah.
That is, for me, one of the biggest reasons of existence of the job I like so much.
What is your out of comfort zone?
Many things. My out of comfort zone. I've pushed myself so many times out of the comfort zone.
Mm.
But at my age now is like, huh, yeah, I'm getting older.
Yeah.
And in fact, the bizarre thing of being a corporate coach and combining it with sports coaching is the older you get, the more gray hairs you get,
Mm.
the more points of comparison you have.
Mm.
So, in fact, I'm thinking, but I want this to be challenged, that in fact, in this job, you become wiser,
Yeah.
wiser. But you should not start believing yourself, because then you become a guru, then you become dangerous for the people you coach. So probably it is becoming wiser, keeping my feet on the ground, stay humble,
Mm.
like I hope I've ever always been, so I can keep helping people until my 80s. That's
And
my dream.
that's amazing. And a last challenging question, like, what would you do if you wouldn't have any fear in your life?
It's impossible. I don't think it's possible to not have any fear. It is so bloody human. That's what defines a human being, that from time to time you fear things. You fear losing your relationship after 30 years of marriage. You fear your children getting older, leaving the house. Will they still call daddy from time to time? It's you losing relevance in life, or whatever it is. I mean, I would hate it to be fearless,
Mm.
because I would lose the typical human fragility.
So basically, fear is helping you.
Yeah, from time to time I need it, because it keeps me fresh. It helps me renewing.
Mm.
Um, and if I would be fearless, I would probably tend to go to arrogance,
Yeah.
not being open anymore to look in the mirror, question yourself. I find it a dangerous thought, to be honest.
And if you really wouldn't have any fear, would you do something different in your life? What would you do?
Mother Nature gave us cortisol and adrenaline.
Mm.
If I won't only drive, if the planet would only drive on adrenaline, fearless, you would not be here and I would not be here. Apologies to say. And the last probably male muscled like that would have killed the last two females. So a fearless world only driven by adrenaline. Luckily, we have cortisol, which makes us a little bit, thinking, little bit fear.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you more prudent, makes you more reflective. And that's the reason why we are not killed and still sitting here having this nice conversation, if you ask me.
Mm. Okay, so if you would fearless, you will probably would end up in dangerous activities.
Probably. But again, you have no more breaks. You do crazy stuff.
Mm.
It's like some of adrenaline addicted people.
Mm.
I've known one of them. He was world famous, the first one to jump out of the plane with a surfboard and doing all
Oh, wow.
extreme. Extreme. He was a really good tennis player. He was a really good friend of mine. But unfortunately, he's not there anymore. He was diving in the deepest cave hole somewhere in Asia and never came back. So fearless, I don't think it's a good idea for humankind.
Fear is our compass. It helps us
Yeah,
to stay still, maybe our feet on the ground,
yeah,
and
but
manage the risks as well in life.
yeah, probably.
Anything you want to add before we close this podcast? So I could
No,
speak hours and hours with you.
no. To be honest, this is my first podcast in my life. So you convinced me to do it. You
Yeah.
say like, oh, how does this go? So people who are listening will probably have a big smile now. So I hope I brought some value to all of you. And yeah, I studied Latin and Greekish a long time ago, and the fundament of coaching came from Plato and Socrates. And they were walking in Athens in the Stoa, and they created the fundament of coaching, which is the maiotic atekna, which is asking questions. So I studied that in Old Greek, and I still always think back of it. And the point I want to make is one of the things they say, gnoti seauton, know yourself. And the more you know, the more you realize you don't know anything. And I find that extremely valuable still today, because it keeps you the feet on the ground and it keeps you at any age open to learn. That's the last thing I want to share.
Any age open to learn. I love it. The more you learn about yourself, the more you know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And this is also in the concept of out of comfort zone, where I always try to motivate people to step more out of comfort zone, because the more you step out, the more you explore yourself. You are like a surprise package.
Yeah.
And many people think they know themselves. They are like 50, 60, nothing to explore. But contrary, the more you explore yourself, the more you know about yourself, the more you know what you don't know. And there's so many things to explore still. Like, we are also a surprise package.
Yep. Keep surprising yourself.
Great. Thank you so much.
If you'd like to learn more about how we can help transform your life and live to your fullest potential in your personal or professional life, we invite you to visit our website at outofourcomfortzone.com. By the way, if you enjoyed listening to the show, please subscribe and rate it. Thank you.